Hello and welcome. It's the 23rd of December 2018, almost 1900 hours or 6:50 p.m. Eastern Time as of the start of the video. All bets, trades of the like within each his own risk reward. I'd like to welcome you to the channel. My name is Derek, and within the daily time frame on Bitcoin, just hanging in there, getting a little symmetrical within this uptrend and maybe a downtrend over the last few days. 4-hour term time frame, this higher lows is in place, but obviously now the possibility of this being a lower high. So just to wait and see things really becoming more neutral with this 18 average, thus a range of 37 high change and 41 low change is the range for such. LITECOIN inverted head and shoulders pattern. And it's got the left one here on the daily. There's the head. There's the right shoulder, the neckline, pretty much where this current price action is at, hair above such, maybe in around 846. But is it going to be able to break the neckline? Maybe, but it sure looks as if it's going to. And getting out above here, I'm not going to put much credence other than very short-term resistance amongst this particular level. That amongst the weekly chart, I'll be looking for it to establish a level of resistance. The band is now in the process of flattening out. And when this thing goes in the past, it's had some tremendously large moves, like of course the one that occurred last December and then the one last March. And when you see where they came from before the move, this was grinding its way lower. It got above the 18 and went. This one here had this level of support. It originally resisted the 18 at first. Then it had this point where it resisted it again within this wick from this low. And then it got above the 18 and it had an okay leg higher after that. But regardless of the fact, when these things go, and the potential for the big gains always come in play. Let's transition next to PivX, which is having a good day, I would say the least, up modest, and I'm sarcastic saying this, 44.8%, but I might not be modest because like I stated before, when these things are ready to go, they can have some phenomenal moves within its weekly term time frame. The 18 average has been sideways since the end of the summer for the entire autumn period. Now we're into winter, and it's looking possibly like it might want to take it out, but where did it come from? Well, it came from this general area in here. So what's this price point at? That's about the high 40s. So I'm looking at a conservative price objective, over 100% move. And when you have a situation of point A low, which is like under 1,000 Satoshi, point B high over or close to 200,000, and then point C low at over 10 and pretty much at around 15,000, then the next high, if it's bearish, you're talking lower high, and that's the area again around 40, even up to as high as 80, 90, and even a little over 100 would technically not be a higher high. That's more bearish level. And a bullish level is making a new high, and that's what a lot of times these markets can do. Whether it will or not, time will be the determination for such. Looking at this on the daily chart, again, just a nice move. Nice to see it hold now that it's had a very good one above this level of resistance in this area. So right now, between 18,000 and change and 19,000 and change would be that hold area. If this thing continuously skyrockets north of 26 and 30, then I'm going to want to see it hold around this 21 to its current level. Amongst such 4-hour chart, we can see it's just growing much, much higher. But I kind of want to put this, I do want to put this on the Binance chart next. Let me do that. And when we see in here the price differential 22.76 and 22.78, there's no arbitrage. When these things move big, that's often when they occur. The person who sold down here, how do you feel right now? And those who bought their PivXs here, looking pretty good right now. Obviously, 1-hour chart. And this level of resistance, managed to get up to it. This earlier part in the day, came back to it, found its successful support, breaks it, and just the tremendous fast moves we can see in here that after it managed to have its top, it just consolidated for a little bit amongst high volatility. For 3 of the 4 periods, it had the high volatile movements. And then it just settled in there and then just grinded a little bit lower in a range of the 18 handle down to the 17. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, now 6 consecutive 15-minute periods going up extremely fast. 5-minute time frame, straight up movement. And on the single-minute time frame, the 18 average of lows has been tremendous support over the last hour and change. And we got Qtum next. And that's broken resistance on the daily. Clearly. Nice little move that it was facing within its weekly term. Looking to us, it's getting above the 18 highs. That's nice to see. Whereabouts are we coming from? Well, amongst this chart, we can see just up towards this area here. But if I put maybe a Bittrex chart, I'll get more data. Not really, actually, no. But regardless of the fact, I can see that it's having a nice little breakout within 1 hour time frame. Nice little moves. 4-hour chart. Obviously breaking this level of resistance in here. 15-minute. Everything is going up really, really nicely amongst the Qtum chart. So we'll see how this continues on. But if it's going to pull back, this little congestion area around 60 low, high 59, I'd like to see it hold. But if it gets above here, we could be talking about this thing having 50, 60, 80% moves. And in 3 days, another way of putting this is the mathematical chances that this thing has 120-ish% move within the next 120 hours is a lot higher now than it was any time since really March of this year, because there was never any point since this was declining on this time frame showing that this was ready to get going for a tremendous gain, not since it was above this level when it was having that such play back in January, because it stayed below the 18, got up to the 18 highs in here, but nothing to get above and show it was ready to break the trend. Fast move lower, little bit of resistance here, and now enough for the band to flatten out. When this move comes into play, we're talking about establishing resistance. Not a surprise if it comes back, but generally, reversal of trends is going to come in 2 forms. I talk about the 4 stages. That's going to be one of them, and one of the forms, and then goes higher, or it just goes higher, and it leaves the 18 band, and it doesn't look back until it's had an amazing move. Next up is ETHLEND, ticker symbol LEND, which you can see here in the 18 average is just going sideways. Had a shot of breaking out in the start of December, but it pulled back and it managed to stay and hold, really stay above this 18 lows. It resisted it for a while, but it never broke down. And when it made its move to the highs, it took about 3 trading days to do it, December 14th, really to 2 days. But since it got to this high, 2 pause days from that 2 up movement, then it broke out the next day, came back to key support. So in a spot here, and we'll take a look at this on a shorter term time frame for such. I'll put the line in now for that situation. If you noticed it was breaking it above and you're waiting for it to come back, well, you got your buy order in, and well, now you're just looking, okay, it's looking like I got a good buy, and it seems as if it's ready and poised to go higher, as we've seen the 3 previous days finish off within the 18 average of highs. And now we can see that it's looking to break higher from such. Very, very good look, 4-hour term time frame. So therefore, you've seen it breaking. Say at this point here, the price was 227. You put a buy order in at 217. It would have executed in here. And now we see just within this, green candle up to the 18 highs and previous multiple hit resistance on the 7 a.m. timestamp. A pause period. And now within this one here, we have this one just closed it. So we have a new period now upcoming. But this resistance hit it, come back a little bit, 18 average newly rising. This to me seems poised and ready to get going for another leg higher. And the final chart will be Ripple daily term time frame. But before that, let's take a look at this on the weekly. This is going to be interesting if this breaks out. I wouldn't be surprised if this doubles in a very quick period of time, because my target level would be previous resistance. On a break, let's look at this where I got more data, and I know that Poloniex has traded this for a long time. So let's take a look at this on a monthly chart. Now getting the day and age where we can use monthly charts in crypto. That's good to see some time has been coming into place. Overall, the symmetricalness within such, you got the low, higher low, higher low. You got this high. You can say it's a matching one. However, it's got to have to break it to one side or another. Regardless, however, I like within this chart, from this low, you have resistance on this period. You consolidate a little bit for that month. And then the month of November, it has a rally back to this previous level of resistance and is holding it, showing a pause month, as of course the month is coming close to a close. So very much a nice looking setup in here. And on the daily chart within this level here, we got resistance. It came back to this correctionary phase. And now if this is starting to leave it, this would tell me that this move here is not a failed rally, at least not for the time being, because of the successful correction, and this more shorter term rally, also not a failed one. And again, for the time being, as the momentum moving forward, showing on the weekly just how beautiful this looks, has a lot of great possibilities for the gains that could be coming up. Amongst such, the 4-hour term time frame, we're looking at this resistance that it established in here on the fifth last period, as it managed to get above the 18 average, which was declining for a little bit in here. Red candle down back to where it came from, but we're now seeing 3 candles moving to the upside. This green candle here, we're 5 minutes into the session. 3 minutes 55 or 3 hours 55 minutes left of 4 hours, which means I already know on the 5-minute term time frame it's breaking out. Single hour time frame, we can see how it's just recently over the last 10-15 minutes breaking above the 18 average of highs, the 5 or so periods that preceded it, showing a lot of strength and the very beautiful correction. Once again, this retracement came back where the market came from. There was the resistance that it had. There's the breakout, nice little support. And as we see it leaving the 18, it's looking as if it's ready to go like now. It's doing it in this play. 5-minute term time frame, as I stated, it's making this breakout now. So short term, it's breaking that level of resistance. And we can see 1 minute, you get the nice little volume coming in. So it's speaking of mathematical probable, it is now more probable for the market to have a 5% push in the next hour, even 30 minutes for that matter, than almost any other time frame, because of what the market conditions are showing right now. And when we talk about market conditions and market harmony, because last year I started trading around February the 22nd-ish, and within days this market, and when I say this market, I mean the crypto market as a whole, had outstanding rallies that would go into June, sometimes into May, but pretty much for a good period of time for tremendous gains. The last half of the year, well, it wasn't a lot of coins shared this type of down move, and a very short, amazing, fast rally where a lot of coins got, in about a month time, 5 weeks on average, going down, or going up rather, going up tremendously up for that matter. A lot of 20, 40, 50, 100x moves by a lot of coins that occurred December into January. And then everything going down this year. We had the bottom in here. So it looks to me, whether it might just be like this failed rally in here, because this was a Harmony April Fool's rally as well. And maybe if this happens, it might just be that, and everything has a leg higher. So this goes up here, everything else has a leg, and then it all goes down. Maybe Bitcoin goes up to 4,600, and then it goes to 24, or something of that nature. Those are still possibilities, but it does at least look like in the near term, and we're moving into a Monday, which is a holiday week given the Christmas break, but still, these markets never close. They're going to trade all day on Christmas. And every single minute on that day, Bitcoin's going to, almost every second, Bitcoin will trade somewhere in this world. At least a 5-second gap. That's how heavily traded Bitcoin is these days. So then, I wouldn't be surprised if this is going on, because many coins at this stage are showing very good, nice, bullish setups. Even the ones that don't. And I said this would be the last chart, but I need to show one to make this statement, or talk about this statement. And they'd be coins like Loom, which is just really sideways in this range between 11 low change and 1500. You got the cred. It's not showing any strength by this means. It's actually looking like it might want to turn over because of how this thing has been going on. But a lot of coins are also neutral as well. But it wouldn't be a surprise if we get a period of time, whether it's really fast, like the April Fool's rally, or the extreme one of last December, or one that takes a decent amount of time, like last year's rally in March of 2017. It seems as if something around that nature is brewing amongst the near-term horizon. Thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.